Sanibona, ngaphambi singene kwivideo namuhla, ngithi angithathe lethuba ngibonge isupport nothando nesikhombise lona lingaphezu kokucabanga kwethu. Siyacela niqhubeke nisisupport njalo ngokubuka amavideo ethu, ungakhohlwa ukukhomenta, ushare, ulike. Siyafisa ukuzwa umbono wakho. Sicela ke singene kwivideo namuhla. Izinto ezibulala izwe lethu esilithandayo, South Africa yethu ekhululekileyo ziwu-3. Ngike ngasho ngaphambilini. Ama-drugs, ama-politician kanye nobugebengu. Yizona zinto ezibulala izwe lethu leli silithandayo. Kule insuku ezedlule sikhulume kakhulu ngalo daba lwama-drugs nanomthelela walo. Sakhuluma kakhulu ngezimpi ezikhona ngapha ko-Western Cape, lento yama-gangs. Kodwa lento yama-gangs ngeke izibe khona ama-drugs engesiyingxenye yawo. Izona zinto ezinkulu lezo. Amaphoyisa kune-truck ayibambile la ebithwele ama-drugs. Sizobheka i-article yakhona. Kodwa kune-video ine-clip engizokucaphunela yona awu-2 eyashiwo ulo mama lo wakwa-James. Uthi angimazi igama lakhe, uyimember aseke i-political party yakhe, ngizoze ngenze iphutha lo mama loyo. Bese kuba eka-ready oyimember ye-MK. Ngizokucaphunela nje lawo ma-video lawo ebese siyayivala le video. Kodwa ngaphambi kokuba nje ngikhuluma into eziningi, asifunde nansi i-article. Isihloko sale article sithi Nigerian national arrested on N1 after his truck was found carrying 19 million rand drugs including tick and cocaine. Ifundeka kanje. Police in the Western Cape intercepted a truck transporting drugs worth nearly 19 million on the N1 near Huguenot Tunnel on Tuesday evening, the 30th of September 2025. The operation took place around 7 p.m. and was led by a member of the Pal Highway Patrol, Boland K9 and Provincial Traffic. Officers acted on intelligence that the truck was moving narcotic from Johannesburg to Cape Town. A search revealed 55.8 kilograms of tick with estimated street value of 16,367,814 rand, along with 30.5 kilograms of cocaine worth 3,863,435 rand. A 44-year-old Nigerian national driving the truck was arrested at the scene. He is facing drug-related charges and will appear before the Paarl Magistrate Court once formal charges are finalized by the authorities. Provincial Commissioner Lieutenant General Thembisile Patekile praised the collaborative effort. Yabona funeka kushintshe umthetho manje. Umuntu otholakala nama-drugs isigwebo sakhe asike sijike. Yazi la eSouth Africa uma usolelwe icala le-rape i-bail awuyitholi ngisho ukuyithola. Kodwa umuntu oboshelwe ama-drugs angazi noma uyayithola na. Sengisholo ukuthi ifuneka ishintshwe lezi zinto ngoba labantu laba babulala izwe lethu. Lama-drugs ayi-Western Cape. Lapho kunempi khona between ama-gangs ongazi noma if influencer yiwona lama-drugs. Kunabantu abathize abebelindele isitoko sabo. Okubuhlungu labo bantu labo ababoshiwe. Kuzoboshwa lo baba lo eNigeria. Akaboshwe ngoba lonke lo mkhuba lo akawenza ezweni lakhe, uwenza kule South Africa yethu ekhululekileyo. Ngizokucaphunela le nkulumo le. Ishinto ezibalulekile ikakhulukazi njengoba sikulesikhathi la silalela khona iCommission kaMadlanga nsuku zonke ikhuluma ngama-drugs, drug cartel econtrol ama-politicians. And lana kukhulunywa nawo ama-politician nama-senior officials. Angazi mina abantu mabengenanembeza kanje kuthiwani. Ngicela uzwe la.
Impact that drugs has on our communities, in our families, that is not enough. That does not show that we are taking this seriously. That does not show that we actually understand the magnitude and the impact that drugs has on our families. I want to know of the SAPS members there, does anyone have a child or a family member that is on drugs? And probably this is why Western Cape Commissioner, You have neglected. This is why you have just thought, let me just leave the people on the Cape Flats to self-destruct and destroy themselves. It cannot be that you are in a position for over 4 years and today we come and say that 96 kids on the Cape Flats has died and we just can't take it as this is what we're going to receive year in and year out, sir. If you have tried and if you have done your best, then I understand. If you can say to this house here today, I have tried, I have said that I don't have resources and nobody has listened, then we know that you can stay in that position, then we know we can go after the National Commissioner. But it cannot be the situation. It cannot be that we have a report that speaks to drug-detected crime that doesn't tell us where the dealers are, Minister. That doesn't tell us where the drug labs are, Minister. That doesn't tell us where the trafficking is taking place, Minister. That doesn't give us any of that information. It cannot be that we have a report, Minister, that speaks to so many arrests. And I can tell you that those arrests are all our children that has been arrested for half a tablet and a little bit of dacha. Where are the drug kingpins? Where is the effort? Where is the net joint operations in our communities? Why are you neglecting the Cape Flats and our communities like this? Do you not see our children are mad in our communities? They don't even know what's their names. Our children don't even look like our children. They mirror the way they look. They look like someone else. Why aren't you taking it seriously? Why is it that Mitchell's Plain Police Station ranks number 2 in an area that is hard hit by drugs and gangs, and that police station, Western Cape Police Commissioner, does not have enough vehicles? Why is it that last week a 14-year-old child that was on scene, and this is why I'm so passionate, Minister, a 14-year-old boy was shot and killed in front of his mother and father. And there was no van for over 1.5 hours. Why is it that that body has to lay there for 4 and 5 hours before we find a pathology van, and all the children on the way to Cape Flats thinks that murder is their portion? What are you doing about drugs in this country that's destroying us? Do you realize that drugs has a role to play when it comes to your rape? Because those children are raping their mothers. Do you know this? Do you know that drugs has an impact on the hijacking? How are you prioritizing and categorizing the drugs? Are you just going after dacha? Do you know the impact of tuk? Are you having special operations that addresses your chaos causing in our communities, such as tuk? Why aren't you categorizing the drugs? Why aren't you speeding up the reports at the labs? Why is it that a drug-related case takes over five years sometimes? Why is it that when we arrest the dealer today, he's out 2 days later? What are you doing about the many lolly lounges in Eldorado Park? What are you doing about the Pela Pos? Let me call this Pela Pos chair, where dozens of children go and get recruited into gangs. Where is your gang strategy? Why aren't you reporting on how many gangs you've dismantled? Why is it that we have members in positions, Minister? And I'm so sorry that this shouldn't come across as an attack, because General Sabia can tell you, we work with you. I work with him. And there's a lot of success. We support you. I support you. Why don't we see war when it comes to fighting substance? What are you doing this? Where's your safety plan now? What does it say about drugs? When are we going to see the army deployed on the Cape Flats? We all want the title, but nobody wants the responsibility. Why haven't you been to the Cape Flats, Western Cape Commissioner, to go and apologize to those families for failing them?
Honorable James, Honorable Shik.
Yeah, we action is elo mam. Kodwa uyamuzwa mam, izinto azibeka ziqiniso zonke. And okubhlungu, ama members of parliament ayazikhuluma into eziright, ayakhuluma kodwa inkinga esinayo South Africa, there is no political will. Yazi mawulalela nje le statement ashilo lo mama, le statement ashilo siyinto zonke. Lezi nje ashilo siyinto zonke. and imibuzo okufanele ayibuze baphendule. Kubhlungu-ke mawusuzwa kuthiwa yena uminister lo ekukhulunywa ngaye naye uyathinteka kulezi zinto lezi ezizinsolo ezabeka uGeneral Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. Ibhlungu-ke lapho ngoba njengoba siphila kukhona abantu esibaziyo, abanye omakhelwane bethu, abanye ama-family members wethu aba-affectwe ama-drugs. Ibhlungu nje lento le kakhulu. Ngizokucaphunela ivideo yokugcina. Bengihlose ukuthi ngenze ivideo ende kodwa singiphatha kabi lesihloko manje, angifuni into ezongiphatha kabi ngoba izonza ukuthi ngingarekhodi kahle. Ngizocaphuna ivideo yesibili, emveni kwayo ngizocela nje ukuthi usubscribe bese ngiyayivala ivideo ngoba angifuni ukukhuluma isikhathi eside. Kodwa lento eshuwo la ibhlungu ngoba there is no political will. Ngithe mangiqala ivideo ngathi ziwu-3 into ezibulala i-South Africa yethu ekhululekileyo: ama-politicians, ubugebengu kanye nama-drugs. Ama-politicians because of there is no political will. If bona bayafuna le nkinga iphele ibizophela. Lento le eshuwo ulokhuzana Honorable James la ibizokwenziwa, bebezoyenza. Ngicela uzwe la.
Thank you very much. Honorable colleagues, I would like you, if you are sensitive and if you have a weak heart, to please put on your earphones, because what I'm going to say to you today is going to have a real impact on you if you have a weak heart. I do not stand here as a member of parliament. I stand here before you as a father. I stand before you as a brother. I stand before you as a friend and as a member of a hurting community. I stand with the weight of countless South African families who are crying out for help as drugs tighten their grips on our homes, our children, and our futures. Honorable House Chair, last week in Phoenix, a tragedy unfolded that shook me to the core. An 83-year-old grandmother who happens to be blind, Kamachi Naika, was brutally stabbed to death in her home. Her daughter, a 63-year-old Shirley Appelsamy, survived multiple stab wounds and now lies in hospital. I happened to have visited her. Her throat was slit because the assailant tried to take out her chain. Now here is the most grotesque part. The perpetrator of this was not somebody unknown. It was actually her own grandson. A child that she once cradled, now consumed by addiction and turned into a monster. But this was not just an act of violence. It was a murder of trust. A grandmother slain by the very child she once nursed. Members, what kind of darkness is this? What kind of poison corrupts so deeply that families become foe? The answer is simple. It is drugs. But Phoenix is not alone. Here in Cape Town, a teenage boy was found lifeless behind his school, a needle still in his arm. In El Dorado Park, a mother had to pull a child out of a shallow grave after a gang war fueled by turf and tick. If you don't know what tick is, it's also another form of common drug that's easily available to our children. In Chatsworth, I met a mother who had no choice but to chain her son to a bed just to keep him from stealing and using drugs again. These are not horror stories. These are real people. They are our people. I have worked with street children. There was a young girl that I met on the street, Lindiwe. She was 11 years old, a most beautiful child. She ran away from home. She refused to go back. She was hooked on drugs. Her mother was a school principal and would come to the streets in the evenings just to see a child and beg a child to come home. I met the mother. I met the child. 3 days after that meeting, we found a lifeless body near a manhole on Mahatma Gandhi Street. That is the reality. As my own children were growing up, my wife and I would pray every night that they never come into contact with drugs. Because when that substance enters your home, peace will leave and it doesn't knock. It barges in, it breaks everything, trust, joy, love, and everything. Drug dealers, my friends, are real. And they are not hiding. They prey on our children. They stand at school gates. They whisper offers in corners. They sponsor events and shake the hands of politicians and the police. Some are even protected. And in some cases, the police are turning a blind eye. Or worse, they are taking a cut. Let me ask you, and I want to be honest about this. Is there anyone here who can truly stand up and say, you are untouched by this crisis? Is there no one in your family, in your community, in your heart, who has not been consumed by this plague? Even in this house, I know there are members who understand the pain I speak of, who have buried, who have wept, who have prayed like we have. Rehabilitation is supposed to be our hope, but too often it has become a failure. It's underfunded, overcrowded, and disconnected from reality. Over 60% of those who seek help relapse within months. But there is hope. In the city of Tshwane, the community-oriented substance use program, a methadone-based treatment model, has shown great promise. More than 70% of the participants remain in treatment after 6 months. That's not just a number, that is a lifeline. Imagine if the success could be replicated across our nation. If every child in pain had access to this kind of care. But it cannot happen on hope alone. It needs commitment, it needs funding, it needs leadership from each and every one of us. Not to use this opportunity to show our anger against each other. Let's transfer that anger to the drug dealers, to drug substance abuse. Let's join hands, all of us, and let's do it. It needs funding and it needs a political will. And yet, while we host expensive conferences, etc., the very backbone of our community response is dying. Families are suffering in silence. Members' addiction doesn't care about color, class, or creed. On behalf of MK Party, the progressive parties here, we want to make this call. We want to establish a national crack anti-drug unit, independent and comprised of local police structures. Empower them with the ability to raid, seize, and arrest quickly, effectively, and fearlessly. If SARS can attach your accounts without getting a court order, why can't we give the police the power to go in and attach the drugs, confiscate the drugs from drug dens? Roll out the successful Tshwane methadone model across the country. Ring-fence a dedicated budget for rehabilitation services. Task the Department of Health and the Department of Social Development alongside the Department of Police to lead this charge, not in words, but in daily measurable action. Let us break the chains, not only those around the wrists of addicts, but the chains that bind families in silence, that bind communities in fear, that bind governments in indifference. Let this parliament rise with one voice, for Kamachi, for Shirley, for the children beneath the bridges, for the mothers who have run out of tears. Let us remember as this parliament that we broke the chains. We did not just debate them. There is a person, I don't know what's his name, but he accused our Spitfire, our spokesman, of being a drug addict. What's his name? Fraud something. He went and got tested and he proved that this guy is a liar because the test showed that he's clear. So maybe we should all be doing that even with our own children. Thank you for listening and let us make this a reality. Let's fight the scourge of drugs in our society. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Honorable Masango.
Njoba ngishile ekuqaleni ngathi into esingenayo kuma politicians wethu i-political will. Noma ngathiwa uyayizonda i-MK party, noma ngathiwa uyayizonda yiphi political party, kodwa lento ezimbili eshiwo Honorable James we-Action SA nesho Honorable Reddy we-MK party ziyiqiniso, into ekufuneka zenziwe. Umbuzo omkhulu ukuthi kungani zingenziwa, ngoba there is no political will. Ingoba labantu kufuneka baphasise lemithetho basebugebengweni kanye nazo lezi gebengu. Asiyibambe le video, ngicela ukuze ukuphala kwakho la comment section. Mina nawe bese sidibana kwi-video elandelayo. Ungasupporta ngokuba imember. Qala ku-R40 ngenyanga kuyaphezulu. Ungasupporta ngokusidonatela, ikhona account kwi-comment ephiniwe. Ngiyabonga.